In 2003, several rare Renault FT tanks were discovered by international coalition forces in Afghanistan. Afghanistan first acquired the Renault FT tanks during a period of military modernization in the 1920s and 1930s. At the time, the Afghan kingdom, lacking heavy weaponry, sought to bolster its armed forces by purchasing French-made Hotchkiss machine guns, two batteries of 105mm Schneider cannon, and five Renault FT tanks in 1928. However, some sources suggest that Afghanistan may have received an earlier shipment of four FT tanks as a gift from the Soviet Union in 1923. These tanks were reportedly captured from Polish forces during the 1920 Battle of Rune and subsequently transferred to Afghanistan, which was the first country to officially recognize the newly formed Soviet Union. The Renault FT tanks remained in use well into the 1950s before being retired from active service. Afterwards, they were used for training, museum display, or as gate guardians. It is rumored that the FT tanks were again being used during the Soviet-Afghan War, this time as static barricades and pillboxes. According to a Soviet officer in the 1980s, the Afghan army even possessed one Renault FT in operational condition. One tank on display in Kabul featured a very large gun barrel, which was later revealed to be an illusion created by slipping a piece of pipe over the original Puteaux 37mm cannon. Other Renault FT wrecks were found in various states of disrepair in scrapyards and abandoned vehicle parks around the city. Another FT was discovered in the possession of a local warlord living in an old British fort near Spinball Deck, close to the border with Pakistan. This tank was eventually moved to the entrance of a joint French and American forward operating base. However, due to the base's remote location, the vehicle was never evacuated when the installation was later abandoned. The rediscovery of these historic armed vehicles sparked significant international interest. Ultimately, two of the tanks were transported to the United States aboard the US Air Force C-17 Globemaster III transport aircraft. One of them was restored and is now on display at the National Infantry Museum at Fort Moore, while the second remains unrestored at the US Army Armor and Cavalry Collection.